Howdy, y'all. It is Cody from the Keepers of Nerddom, and we've got all three of the other detachments. Do we? Yes, we do. We still don't know the entirety of the Talon detachment. That's the joint Sisters and Sister Sounds and Custodes. But we have the other three as far as the detachments and the abilities. Let's run through them and do some quick just thoughts and review and try to give you some quick thoughts. Thank you so much for joining me. Like, share, and subscribe. It's the last video we talked about this stuff was pretty awesome to just see the great interaction, and the pictures will be pretty grainy, so we'll try to blow them up and do what we can here on this to make it look better. But yeah, let's go through. So this is the Shield Host attachment. We have our Martial Mastery. Once per battle at the start of the battle round, you can use Martial Mastery. If you do until the start of the next battle round, each time an Adeptus Custodes model from your army with the Martial Kata ability makes melee attack, a successful modified hit roll of 5 plus scores a crit hit, and improve the AP characteristics of melee weapons equipped by Adeptus Custodes models from your army with the Martial Kata ability by 1. Notice that Anathema Icona cannot do that then. Kind of weird. Alright, so we have the enhancements from the Hollow Armories. Shield Captain model only. Add 1 of the strength and damage characteristics of the bear's melee weapons. This thing is now just full on offense, and it's kind of crazy in that way, but they lost their defensive buff of a 4-up feel no pain against devastating and mortal wounds. Just a note, that's what the Martial Mastery replaces. They still have their Martial Katas, but only get 2 options instead of, I think there's a third. Yeah, there was a third, so we're down that too. That's their army rule. A little different now. So, Castellan's Mark, Shield Captain model only. After both players have deployed their armies and determined who has the first turn, you can select 2 Adeptus Custodes units from your army. Can't use Anathema Icona. And redeploy all of those units. When doing so, any of those units can be placed in Strategic Reserve, regardless of how many units are already in Strategic Reserves. That's crazy. It's kind of weird. You equip this to a Shield Captain, and then you could just do this to 2 units. Doesn't have to be him. Kind of weird. Auric Mantle, Shield Captain, or Blade Champion model only. Add 2 to the bear's wounds characteristics. I mean, it's only the leader, so it's actually not very good, but it is cool. Just because you're going to have something just crazy strong. And then Panoptis Specs. Okay. Shield Captain or Blade Champion model only. Let's see if we can adjust our view. There we go. While the bear's leading unit, ranged weapons equipped by models in the unit have the Ignores cover ability. Ranged weapons, though. That's interesting. So we actually have something that's not just melee based, which is kind of interesting considering what this typically is. So let's go to the first 4. They're all 1 CP, though. Arcane Genetic Alchemy. Any phase just after a mortal wound has been allocated to an Adeptus Custodes model from your army. Target that Adeptus Custodes model. You can't do Anathema Icona on any of... 1 has the potential. That's funny. And it's the one you wouldn't want to do it to anyway. Effect until the end of the phase. Models in your unit have the Feel No Pain 4 ability against mortal wounds. Not devastating wounds, just mortal wounds. It's interesting, though. Interesting. So just after a mortal wound. So you already know mortal wounds are coming in. Wow. Interesting. Okay. Multi-potentiality on the far right. Yeah. 1 Adeptus Custodes unit from your army that fell back this phase. In your movement phase, until the end of your turn, that unit is eligible to shoot and declare a charge on a turn to which it fell back. That's crazy good. Me and my good friend were talking about that, and I was like, it actually isn't very good just because of how strong they are against like smaller, like easier to destroy units, but against like big vehicles and stuff, the ability to fall back, shoot and charge back into the same thing, or to charge something else really, really is very good. So it's going to be situational at times, but I think it's going to be a very good stratagem. Avenge the Fallen, Adeptus Custodes unit. Start of the fight phase. Until the end of the phase, add 1 of the attacks characteristics of melee weapons equipped by models in your unit. If your unit is below half strength until the end of the phase, add 2 to the attacks characteristics. That's just nutty, obviously. That's just a lot of attacks. Vigilance Eternal. Movement phase. One Adeptus Custodes battle line unit. And you can't do a Nethos Icona, which is funny because they're not even battle line now. Unless they're inside of their own sister's thing. Within range of an objective marker you control, the objective marker remains under your control even if you have no models within range of it until your opponent controls it at the start or end of any turn. Okay, so we've got our sticky objective still, which on a personal note frustrates me, but on a gameplay standpoint it makes sense because otherwise what are they supposed to be doing, especially when they have such strong units comparatively to a lot of other things. They need to be able to move off of stuff with just that risk of, hey, if they could grab it back off of you, you're in trouble. Anyway, Unwavering Sentinels. And I'm sorry that this is this blurry, but just what it is. So, fight phase just after an enemy unit has selected its targets. One Adeptus Custodes infantry unit, not a Nethos Icona, is within range of an objective marker you control, and that was selected as a target of one or more of the attacking unit's attacks until the end of the phase. Each time a melee attack targets your unit, subtract 1 from the hit roll. Cool. I mean, I guess it's a good defensive boost, but it's weird that it would be multiple models being attacked. It's just in the fight phase. It's so situationally that would even come up with more than one. All right, Aerotech, Archaeotech, munitions. One Adeptus Custodes unit from your army. Not an Nethos Icona. Select either the lethal hits or the sustain hits 1 ability until the end of the phase. Range weapons equipped by models in your unit have the selected ability. So you can gain the Martial Kata thing for a ranged weapon. That's pretty cool, actually. Not great, but it could actually be pretty beneficial to you. So, what do I think about the Shield Host? I actually think it still has interesting play, especially with that Castellan's Mark being able to redeploy and put him in strategic reserves. That's bonkers with Custodes because they're not like fast. So strategic reserves is an interesting way to get them up on the board somewhere else. But they don't have the Fort Feel No Pain against mortal wounds and devastating wounds anymore. They have it for mortal wounds in a stratagem, and you can only use it once on that unit. And then if they switch to something else, then it's gone. And it's only for mortal wounds, not right now devastating wounds. Unless they change some stuff, this is some pretty serious meh. This is probably still, I think, in ways the strongest thing because it's more generic, except for the Nethos Icona, obviously. But they lost a lot of what their resurrection stratagem. We don't see it here. It may be in the dual Nethos Icona and Custodes one. We're not sure. We haven't seen all the stratagems for that one. So let's go over and look at Auric Champions and the others. Let's get into this. All right, let's readjust here. Auric Champions. Pretty excited for this one just because it sounds so silly, but yet, and terrible too. That's a problem though. Terrible as well, but I think it sounds hilarious. Like fun if it actually worked, but I don't think it works. Okay, so detachment rule. At the start of your command phase, select one unit from your opponent's army until the start of your next command phase. Each time an Adeptus Custodes character model from your army makes an attack that targets that enemy unit, add 1 to the wound roll. So you get 1 unit on their team. They get +1 on the wound roll, and it's only for the character model. Character models attacking that unit get +1 to the wound roll. And you can switch it every turn. That's good. But this is just, it's rough. Oh, and also the Martial Katas, if memory serves, their army rule has now changed to where it's a once per battle thing, and you declare it at the start of the battle round. So your opponent can see it kind of, not necessarily coming if you start the battle round, but if you don't, you go second, and you have to declare it at the start of the battle round, which is their turn. They could see it coming. It's interesting because it could be situationally really bad. Anyway, so enhancements. Blade Imperator. First off, the detachment rule for our champions, that's just so limited down to the characters. And people were making the meme, and I wasn't quite sure what it meant until I finally saw it all and realized you could technically like make a team just of leaders, like character units from the Custodes, and it sounds hilarious that that's even possible and it would be focused on in this way, but it's probably not a good idea. But let's go through the enhancements here. Blade Imperator, Custodes model only. Each time the bearer's unit ends a charge move, select one enemy unit within engagement range of the bearer and roll 1d6. On a 4-up, that enemy suffers d3 mortal wounds. It's a 50-50 shot. Once per battle, the bearer's unit after the bearer's unit ends a charge move, all enemy units within 6 inches of the bearer must take a battle shock test. So they have these once per battle things in all of these, if memory serves. Yeah. Inspirational Exemplar, Adeptus Custodes model only. The bearer has a leadership. You noticing this? It's Adeptus Custodes models only. Like the Anathema Psychona leader, generic one, cannot get this stuff either. It's really weird because what we're seeing is there are 2 detachments that are focused on the Sisters of Silence being one specifically focused on, and the other like they're there to make sure you get bonuses from. And, you know, obviously we haven't seen everything from the Talons detachment with the shared Psychona and Custodes, but all the rest of these are just like, no, they do not exist. They do not get anything. It's so weird. So weird. Anyway, the bearer has a leadership characteristic of 5+. Once per battle, at the start of any phase, you can select one friendly Adeptus Custodes unit that is battle shocked and within 12 inches of the bearer. That unit is no longer battle shocked. Okay, cool. That's the thing. But you still have to make a battle shock roll at the end of the command phase of memory serve, so it actually wouldn't stop them from being battle shocked when you needed it to happen. I guess you could unbattle shock them after that. Yeah, you could. You could. That's interesting, though. Just weird. Very weird. So I guess you could still, but not for scoring purposes. Interesting limitation there. Veiled Blade, Adeptus Custodes model only. Add 2 to the attack's characteristics of the bearer's melee weapon. Okay, it's just for that model, though. Once per battle at the start of any command phase, triple the bearer's objective control characteristics until the end of the turn. That's really cool. So you could have like Trajan with like 6 OC. It's kind of cool to think, because I think he has 2. Interesting. All right, Martial Philosopher, Adeptus Custodes model only. The bearer's unit is eligible to shoot and/or declare a charge in a turn in which it fell back once per battle. When an enemy unit ends a normal advance fallback move within 9 inches of the bearer, if the bearer's unit is not within engagement range of one or more enemy units, it can make a normal move up to 6 inches. This one's crazy because this actually rewards you for the whole unit being able to shoot and/or declare a charge in turn in which it fell back. It's both. Why would it say and/or? Just say shoot and declare charge. Like, just say and. Do as much as you can. That's all. It's pointless. They don't read their wording always. I get that it's just the lecture layer, but they don't do that in other places anyway. Like, if we go back here, do they actually do that in the... what was it? To shoot and declare a charge in a turn in which it fell back. It's a multi-potentiality. They don't do it over there either. That's so stupid. Yeah, it's multi-potentiality and it doesn't have that wording. It's so silly. Alright, anyway. What do I know though? Custodes. Poor Custodes. Alright, let's go over here. See our enhancements for this. Slayer of Champions. Okay. So the top and bottoms are 1 CP, but the middle 2 are 2 CPs, and these are all epic deed stratagems, not a single battle tactic stratagem, so they're not going to ever get them for free. That's crazy. Just wild. Okay, Slayer of Champions, 1 Adeptus Custodes character, and character, warlord, character, Oh, that one says unit. So, okay, we got a little bit different stuff here, but most of them are model. No, okay. One Adeptus Custodes character unit from your army that has just destroyed the unit you selected at the start of your command phase is the target of your assemblage of might ability. Okay, so the thing you chose to get +1 to wound. Select one enemy unit on the battlefield until the start of the next command phase. Each time an Adeptus Custodes character model from your army makes an attack that targets and is still just character model. There it is. The target enemy unit add 1 to the wound roll. In addition, if the destroyed unit was a character unit, gain 1 CP. Cool. That's cool. It's just, and you can switch it over, and that's like, okay, that's awesome, and you can get the CP back. It's kind of neat. Just weird. Okay, earning of a name. When the fight phase, up to 2 Adeptus Custodi character units from your army that have not been selected to fight this phase. Till the end of the phase, each time a character model in either of your units makes an attack that targets a monster or vehicle unit, you can reroll the hit roll and reroll the wound roll. But it's just a character. It's just the character model. That's it. That's so crazy. Superhuman reserves 2 CPs. Any phase just after an Adeptus Custodes Warlord model from your army has used an ability on a stage sheet from an enhancement, or from an enhancement that says it can only be used once per battle. Targets the Adeptus Custodes Warlord, so it has to be your Warlord too, which it has to be a generic Warlord. Or no, it doesn't, because it doesn't have to have the enhancements. It's just if you had him a generic as your Warlord, then you could use the enhancement again. That's interesting. Your model can use its once per battle ability 1 additional time during the battle, but not in the same phase. And you can only use it once per battle. Interesting. Vigilant Ending for 2 CPs. Fight phase, 1 Adeptus Custodes character model, so character model again, from your army that was just destroyed and has not fought this phase. You can use this stratagem. Here, let's zoom in a little bit. That's good. You can use this stratagem on that unit even though it was just destroyed. Do not remove the destroyed model from play. The destroyed models can fight after the attacking unit has finished making attacks and then removed from play, but that's just the character model. Very interesting again. Emperor's Auspice. Let's see here. 1 CP. Your opponent's shooting phase or the fight phase just after an enemy unit has selected its targets. 1 Adeptus Custodes character unit from your army. Okay, so character unit was selected as the target of 1 or more of the attacking unit's attacks until the end of the phase. Character models again in your unit have a feeling of pain 4-up ability. It's just the character models. So it says targets a character unit and then its character model gets 4-up feel no pain. So the rest of the unit doesn't get the 4-up feel no pain. Terrible again. Like if you just have Trajan by himself, then this is actually really good. But otherwise, you're just, that's weird. That's so weird. All right, Shoulder the Mantle, 1 CP. At the end of your movement phase, 1 Adeptus Custodi model from your army that is within 2 inches horizontally and 5 inches vertically of a friendly unit that it could lead, as described in the leader section of its data sheet. That character model attaches to that unit to form an attached unit. Change the unit's starting strength accordingly. A restriction: your character model cannot attach to a unit that is already an attached unit. This is weird. Super, super weird. Why wouldn't you already have it attached anyway? Now, I get the idea is supposed to be like his whole squad perishes. But are you going to have a different squad not being led by someone? Or is it just there in case of so you can jump back into it? Like, it's just weird. Super weird. I don't know. As far as the Auric champions, everything about it, I love the concept. Is it good, though? I don't think so. I think you're going to have the goofiest gameplay concept ever of here's 10 characters and we're gonna try, right? Like that's what we're gonna have right here. And honestly, I think it sounds hilarious. Is it good? No. Would it be funny to watch? Yes. Would it be funny to play against? Don't know. Might be terrifying actually, because you're like, I get rid of this one character and there's still 3 more separate units behind it. Yikes. I want to see it. I think this will be a lot of fun. I doubt it will win tournaments, but I think the concept here is hilarious. And derpy is all get out. That's all. That's all I can say about it. It's just derpy. Derpy in a good way, right? Yeah, derpy in a good way. That is the reality here. So let's continue on, and we'll finish up with the Null Maiden Vigil. Dumb. Okay, this is the full Sisters of Silence detachment. Yay. Okay. In the Creeping Dread aura, in the battle shock step of your opponent's command phase, if an enemy unit that is either a Psyker unit or below its starting strength is within 12 inches of one or more Anathema Psychona models from your army, that enemy unit must take a battle shock test. If that unit is below half strength, it must subtract 1 from its battle shock test this phase. They even have a designer's note to say this is confusing. This means that all enemy Psyker units within range of the SOAR ability and all enemy units within range of the SOAR ability that have lost 1 or more models must take a battle shock test in your opponent's command phase, not just those that are below half strength. What? Or below its starting strength. Okay. So it is, okay, they're just clarifying. That's fine. That's pretty easy. Keywords, if you select this detachment, prosecutor units from your army have the battle line keyword. Very cool, very cool. Okay, so they get battle line here now, but they lost it because they used to have it. That's so stupid. They should have just let them have it. All right, enhancements for Raptor Blade. The funny thing is, these only can go on the generic Anathema Psychona character, not Valea. And they're all limited to Anathema Psychona model only, so it's literally one person. That's it. This is stupid stuff, like just stupid. And also, can we let's just go back for a second for the battle shock. For a detachment rule, that is dumb. In that one game where they lose all their OC because they get battle shocked, it's going to be amazing. Otherwise, this is the worst thing you're ever going to see. It's bad. It's really bad. Like no bonuses. If the Sisters of Silence stay the way they are, they're going to be terrible. This will be pointless. So they took them out of the box to make you buy them. And then there's actually no reason to buy them because they're terrible. We'll see what the data sheets say eventually. Hopefully those will get spoiled Saturday or tomorrow. We'll see. Raptor Blade, model only. Add one of the attack strength and damage characteristics of the bearer's melee weapon while the bearer is within engagement range of one or more enemy Psyker units. That's another thing. This is very much, if there's a Psyker, they get more bonuses. There's not a lot of factions that have a lot of Psykers. So while the bear is within engaged range of one or more enemy Psyker units that are battle shocked, so it has to be a Psyker and battle shocked. Add 2 to the attack, strength, and damage characteristics of the bearer's melee weapons instead. No, this is just terrible because it's a psychic and like it has to find a Psyker and Thousand Suns. What's the other one that has lots and lots of psychic? Obviously, like Grey Knights has a lot of psychic. I'm drawing a blank, but it's just not a really. I guess it's just I don't use them, but it's just these are terrible. All right, enhance Void Sheen Cloak. It just sounds like this is wonderful fabric we have. All right, same thing, model only for Anathema Psychona. Each time an attack is allocated to the bearer, subtract 1 from the damage characteristics of that attack. If that attack was made by a Psyker or Battle Shock model, see, there's an or at least. That's good, so it can be Psyker or Battle Shock model. Change the damage characteristics of that attack to 1 instead. This is terrible because, again, it's just your leader, not the unit. Huntress's Eye, that's a Psychona model. Only in your command phase, select one enemy unit within 12 inches of the bearer. That unit must take a Battle Shock test. Cool. If Battle Shock was actually devastating in this way, obviously 0C and no stratagems is strong, except for the fact that once per game they can cancel it, and also they still get to fight with full stats and everything. It's not like they don't. It's just not that bad. I mean, unless you're taking over an objective, I just don't see this being that good, especially with their data sheets as they are now. Anyway, Oblivion Knight. Okay. Psychona model only. while the bear is leading a unit. Each time a model in that unit, okay, so models in the unit makes an attack, add 1 to the hit roll. If that attack targeted enemy psyker unit, add 1 to the wound roll as well. So at least it gets +1 to hit. That's actually a pretty decent one. That's at least useful. Has some actual use. That's good. All right, let's go to the stratagems for this piece of crap garbage. They're all 1 CP. Desperation's price. When any phase just after an enemy psyker unit has either finished using a psychic ability that targets a unit or finished making psychic attacks, target 1 anathema psychonic unit from your army within 18 inches of that enemy psyker unit. Effect: that enemy psyker unit must take a leadership test. If the test is passed, the psyker unit is battle shocked. If this test is failed, the psyker unit suffers 3 mortal wounds and is battle shocked. Again, just so specific. You'd have to know that you're playing Psychic Team for this to ever be that useful, because in a super focused psychic group, they might have 1 or 2 psychic units, period. And so you're not going to get very much. Like, this literally is useless against non-psychic people. So the Tau and the Necrons, they would laugh when they see this on a data sheet at all, or just the stratagems section, because it does nothing. It will never do anything to them. Anyway, let's continue. Psy Chaff Volley. When in your shooting phase, let's zoom in a little further if we can. There we go. Ooh, yeah. Nice. All right, your shooting phase, 1 prosecutor unit from your army that has just shot. So it's only prosecutors. Interesting. Select 1 enemy unit hit by 1 or more of those attacks until the start of your next turn while the unit is on the battlefield. While your unit is on the battlefield, that enemy unit is prosecuted. While a unit is prosecuted, each time an Anathos Psychona model makes an attack against that unit, improve the AP of that attack by 1. While a Psyker or Battle Shocked unit is prosecuted, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, subtract 1 from the hit roll. Cool. I mean, the AP is nice, but the hit roll thing is dependent on either being psychic or battle shocked. So at least we have the battle shock. Gives you some ability to actually activate it, but well, this is so bad. So bad. What did they do to my boys? My goodness, I feel so bad for my friend. Like, this is weird. All right, Witch Hunters, 1 CP, your shooting phase, or the 5 phase. 1 Anathema Psychona unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot or fight this phase. Could you take Custodes in this? You could. They're going to be getting nothing from any of this, which is hilariously terrible to see. Anyway, select either lethal hits or sustain hits 1 ability until the end of the phase. Weapons equipped by models in your unit have the select ability, but models in your unit can only target Psyker units with their attacks. So Necrons and Tau laugh at your face with this one as well. No lethal hits or sustain hits 1 for you from this. Merry Christmas. Purgation Sweep. When your shooting phase, target 1 Witch Seeker's unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot this phase. I love how they literally have stratagems that target only 1 group inside of their small. Well, they have like 3 data sheets for these, or 2. I don't know. I can't ever remember with them. Let's hang on. Now I want to know how many data sheets. Adeptus Custodes 10th edition data sheets, because I can't remember, because my friend never played the Sisters of Silence because he didn't like how they looked, and I'm like, I get it, man. They're ugly. They're just ugly. Okay, so we have prosecutors, witch seekers, and vigilators, maybe? Yep, vigilators are the other ones. Got it. We'll see if vigilators show up at all. They have a great blade. Witch seeker flame, that's funny. Okay, sorry, I just had to know because I didn't know much about them. Your shooting phase, 1 Witch Seeker's unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot this phase. Until the end of the phase, add 1 to the attack's characteristic of torrent weapons equipped by models in your unit. If such a weapon targets a Psyker or Battle Shocked unit this phase, add 2 to its attack's characteristic instead. Let's go look over here. So it's normally the attacks. So it's D6 normally. So it's D6 plus 1, possibly plus 2. I mean, that's helpful. Yeah. Sanctified Flames. I didn't realize they had this. Each time this unit shoots after it has shot, select one enemy unit that was hit by one, not even wounded, just at least hit by one or more of those attacks. That unit must take a battle shock test. So they've got even more battle shock test concepts in here. Deft parry each time a melee attack targets this unit. Subtract one from the hit roll. Very interesting. Let's see the prosecutors. What do they get? Purity of Execution. They all have Feel No Pain 3-up ability against psychic attacks. I love seeing a Feel No Pain 3-up on something. That's crazy. Each time a model in this unit makes a ranged attack that targets a psychic unit, that attack has the precision and devastating wounds abilities. Dang. 24-inch range, rapid fire 1 attack, 3-up ballistic skill, 4 strength, 0 AP, 1 damage. Wow. Oof. 3 toughness, 3-up save. Unless these things change, man. It's 10 models is 100 points for the prosecutors. Oh my goodness. What would happen there? 130 points for 10 vigilators. Witch Seekers 125 for 10 right now. They're not worth it, people. They're all 1 wound. Oh my goodness. What would you do with this? They'd never make it to the fight. They get destroyed. It's crazy. Why even have this as a thing? What do I know though? What do I know? I don't have a $1 million company. All right, Anathema Blade Mastery. 1 CP fight phase, 1 vigilators. Okay, there's the vigilators. So prosecutors, witch seekers, and vigilators all get 1 stratagem specifically for them. It's so bad. From your unit, okay, 1 vigilator's unit from your army that has not been selected to fight this phase. Effect until the end of the phase. Each time a model in your unit makes a melee attack, you can reroll the hit roll. If the target of the attack is battle shocked or a psyker, you can reroll the wound roll as well. If you can get that all to go off, that's crazy cool. But hit roll rerolls is always good. And Executioner Great Blade, anti-psyker 4-ups, devastating wounds. Oh my goodness. So if you go against psychic, all of a sudden these things are on 4-ups doing dev wounds. Jeez. 2 attacks, 3-ups weapon skill, 5 strength, minus 2 AP, 2 damage. Those are serious weapons. You could get these guys, you could get these girls up in somebody's face. My goodness. And then with this, you get to reroll hit rolls and potentially against a psyker or a battle shock wound roll as well. That's awesome. Like, actually, this is really pretty good if you can get them there. All right, Psychic Abominations. Last one right here. When your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy unit selected its targets, target 1 Anathema Psychona infantry unit. Okay, infantry, that's good. Your army that was selected as a target of 1 or more of the attacking unit's attacks. Effect until the end of the phase, your unit has a stealth ability, and battle shocked and psyker models can only select your unit as a target of ranged attack if they are within 12. It's funny, right after your enemy unit has selected its targets. And then you're like, actually, no. We have stealth. Oh, so you at least get stealth, and they have to be battle shocked or psyker. It's funny because the way the wording says, and battle shocked and psyker models, it's almost like you have to have both. You can only select your unit as a target of ranged attack if they are within 12 inches. Wild. Absolutely wild. That would be really cool, but you'd have to battle shock them. Because if we zoom back out for a second, what's the battle shock? You have to be within 12 inches. That's requiring them to be in a rhino and then jump out. Is it doable? Yeah. But they may not fail it. Or they may auto pass it. I don't know. I don't know what to think about this. Okay, I'll tell you what I think about this, really. Okay, really I do. Okay. This is stupid. This is like the worst attachment I've seen so far. And I will admit I did not look through AdMech, but this is bad. This is really bad. The Org Champions has fun in it. The Sisters of Silence Custodes dual combo on the Talons at least has Custodes as a focus, so you can get some use out of that. We don't know it all fully though. That's the one thing. Shield Host is still the offensive beasts for the Custodes, and then this is here. Take the worst possible thing in the entire datasheet list of Custodes. These three different data sheets with 3 toughness, 3 up save, 1 wound, and try to make an army out of them. And you're not paying like Imperial Guard prices. You're paying decent cost for what you're really getting. And what you're getting is, I mean, I guess if you're fighting a psychic thing, you might actually just all of a sudden be god tier just that one game, I guess. But even then, I'll be honest, I think Grey Knights would still get you before you get to them. Or you get to like one squad and defeat like 3 or 4 of them, and then the rest would just wipe you up and be gone with you. This is a terrible detachment. That's like, there is no use for this. There's just not. It's bad. What do you think about these detachments now that we've seen the other 3? We've gotten the full picture there. We don't have the picture of the data sheets yet, but we have this. I think what we're seeing with Custodes is such a weird backtrack, to the point of, me and my friend were just talking. I was like, I feel bad for you, man, because it almost is like, could you just ask GW to backtrack and just have your index and leave it at that? Because this didn't help anything. In fact, it doesn't really actually feel like it gives you options. It feels like it takes away, because most of these are so bad, they're pointless. It's super weird. Like, especially this one. This one's terrible. What's it called? Null Maiden Vigil. No. just no. Like, the Orc Champions is at least a meme faction. The Talons thing might actually have some playability if you're really smart with it, but you'd be super careful. Null Maiden Vigil. Shield Host at least has some play somewhere, somehow. It's just dangerous to play it. This, you would play this literally just to let your friend that's new to the game curb stomp your stuff and let them have an amazing time, because what are you going to be doing? Nothing. You're going to just watch as all your units just explode instantly. Even if you put them in a Rhino and ran them up the field, they're still going to explode, because they have 3 toughness, 3 up save with 1 wound. They're not going to make it. It's just not going to go very well. Anyway, what do you think about these Custodes detachments? I think Shield Host is still definitely the one to look at of the 4 thus far that we know of. Obviously, the Talon one we haven't seen fully, but we've got enough about it to just go, ooh, Sisters of Silence being a focal point is not going to be great. But yeah, thank you for hanging out with me. I want to see your comments down below, and again, like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for hanging out, and let's keep the conversation going. Thank you all, and I will talk to you later. Happy wargaming, everybody.